Now, also in the 1988 Uniform Building Code, there were requirements for calculating the drift of moment frames introduced for the first time. And it prescribed fairly carefully how you had to go about modeling the frame structure in order to predict its drift. And it talks a lot about accounting for the effect of panel zones on building drift. And it says that drift calculations may be based on column and girder center lines, so not using the rigid offsets that engineers love to use and all the software relies for, so that you can use as a default center line and center line, meaning assuming that the panel zone is perfectly flexible. Or, if you can demonstrate that certain effects are within 15% of those determined using the center line to center line distances. First of all, no engineer takes the effort to analyze it one way, then analyze it a second way, being 15%. But if you can demonstrate that it's within 15%, and that the panel zone can develop 80% of the sum of the required moments in the beams, and the column axial deformations may be neglected, then you don't actually have to model the panel space. So, engineers suddenly find themselves in need of a simple, easy, and economical model to use to represent the flexibility that's induced into steel frames by panel zones. And the scissor element would be one relatively easier way to do that, and work Helmut did as part of the SAC project in 2000. He demonstrated that the scissors element actually was simple, did not really represent the deformation patterns that were required to properly account for the behavior of the panel zones, and so he introduced another element that would more closely capture the up and down effect of the beams that occurs in addition to the rotational effects of that, and determined that it was required to have at least 8 nodes and the number of springs in order to do this properly. Now, of course, no one is going to do such an analysis by hand. No one does by hand anything anymore. These days, we all do everything using computers. And so, in order to give credit to Helmut and how much his work has gone into practice and how much it's influenced it, I decided to do a survey of common steel design programs that are used by the profession to design steel frames today. And I looked into the technical data for all of these programs to confirm that, sure enough, each one of these programs that remains here has a Krawinkler element in it. So clearly, Helmut's work has had very great impact on the way we design panels and steel molded frame structures in California. A little humor, I don't at all mean to insult him, but he actually has had very great impact on our practice in any number of ways, from the steel design codes to the ATC 333 document, which has now evolved to ASC 41, to his continuing work with the Peer Center and its eventual incorporation into the ATC 58 development. So Helmut, on behalf of the profession, thanks for all your contributions.
So he's one of the smartest engineers around. But you are 100% wrong on one aspect. And this is the 1.85 factor to blame that on me. Remember, when you look at design, there is a capacity and there is a demand. Now, the so-called Krawinkler equation has to do with the capacity. On the other hand, is the demand equation. That means you take your seismic loads, and then you put something like what's today called an overstrike factor on it. Yeah? Now, if I think of steel moment resisting frames, I believe today the overstrike factor is what, about 3? 3? Okay. And that was the big argument. Now, back to the 1.85. So here's the truth, which is very different from once. At that time, there were 2 so-called steel subcommittees, up in California. And obviously, this is north versus south. There was Southern California, and there was Northern California. And I headed the Northern California subcommittee. And my strong recommendation was to use a factor of 3.0, which corresponds very Our Southern California friends, and I hope there are not too many around, they had an elastic alarm stress mind. And when you think of alarm stresses, you think, oh, yielding is something like alarm stress times 1.7. So they argued for a 1.7, and we argued for 3. This was a big difference. And they went back and forth for months and almost for years ago. I was sick and tired of it. And I remember the letter, and I can show it to you. December 1985 or so, I wrote a letter to the CEO of the Knowledge Committee. I'm sick and tired of it. Southern California is almost talking about this 1.7. There is no reason to make this such an accurate equation because there's nothing to it. At least use a factor of 2.0. I know it was bad, but 2.0 sounds at least around 9. Now what came back, and I swear that's the truth from the South. Oh, we want 1.7, Southern California, we meaning Southern California wants 1.7, Krawinkler wants 2, so we'll make it 1.85.